So welcome to the first ever Get Off My Lawn Records podcast. We've got a show for you. We're going to start with intros. I wrote it down on a piece of paper. She's got a piece of paper too, because we're not one of them millennials.
Sorry, I couldn't actually see the paper over the jacket.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to see. So we'll start with me. So I'm Donald. I'm Donald Moore. Hi, everybody. I'm a musician. I have a problem. So I started Get Off My Lawn Records, I don't know when, a while back. At least in brand only. We did our first release in January, I think is when we put out the Jazz Destroyers Live. And then a couple months ago, we put out my solo record, It's a Secret to Nobody, which I made on my iPad, which is why it's Pay What You Want. And I figure over the course of time, people will learn more and more about me, so that's probably enough for now. We don't need my whole life story. How about you, Greg? Who are you?
My name is Greg Sisko. I was born in West London.
This man is lying to you.
I don't know. My name is Greg Sisko. I don't know who I am. I write novels. I made a film about a guy who wants to be the next great writer, director, actor, singer, songwriter, stuntman, model, etc., etc.
Yeah?
And that was pretty much autobiographical, so that's pretty much who I am. You should...
Yeah, Thunderwake, right?
Yeah, Jesse Thunderwake, American Icon. I'll keep plugging it throughout this whole thing because I've got a million things to plug and no one's ever seen or read any of them.
Right.
So it works quite nicely. I've built up a lot of things that I can continue to plug because they're new to everyone there is.
That's right. So, and we'll go into how that'll work. But, awesome. Welcome, Greg. So the way we know Greg is that Greg has run cameras for us basically forever. We met Greg doing Jesse Thunderwake before Thunderwake, but Thunderwake was our first real big project together.
Right, where we were doing film and music because I knew film and you knew music.
Right, and it's basically the same thing.
It is pretty much kept up to where when you need a film guy or when I need a music guy, we do that stuff.
Right. So while none of those projects are specifically on Get Off My Lawn Records, you're just part of the family.
Yeah, we collaborated on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. We'll have to put some of that, we could re-release some of that Thunderwake stuff. Thanksgiving's coming up, we should find the Thanksgiving song.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And we'll cross-post that on the Facebook page and the YouTube page.
There's a Thanksgiving song?
Oh, yeah.
There is a Thanksgiving song.
Because in the annals of holiday songs, Thanksgiving is seriously lacking.
That's why we did a Thanksgiving song.
That's right. That's right. Now...
It's about being thankful for AIDS and cancer because we were trying to get shock value out of there.
I think we got some shock value. Thank you for taking that completely out of context. Now nobody's going to watch it.
I'm shocked right here in front of you, actually.
Yeah, I believe
but
that.
The important thing is, I still want to hear the song.
That's true. So we'll post that on the Facebook page. Let's Get Off My Lawn Records, and we'll also cross-post it on Jesse Thunderwake page. That's Jesse Thunderwake American Icon, which is you can watch it on YouTube. So
can we post Thanksgiving stuff before Halloween? Isn't that like a faux pas?
Oh, we should absolutely post Thanksgiving stuff before Halloween.
Now, let me just say that Jesse Thunderwake is a movie for film lovers.
Yeah, that's
If you
true.
are deeply immersed in film culture, more so than most, you're really going to be entertained by this movie. There's so many in-jokes and references that you will not get them all the first time.
And this is coming from a guy who wasn't part of it, right? So who the bleep are you?
Well, my name is Stephen Walker, and my origin point is in the Milky Way galaxy, though I'm not legally obligated to be any more specific than that. I speak cat, and you can also find me on the Escape from Ignorance podcast.
Oh shit, that might have peaked. Do that again, but a little quieter.
A little quieter. But you can also find me on the Escape from Ignorance podcast.
Yeah, you're a little hot. I'm going to take you down. That's okay. So, Escape from Ignorance. What is that?
So it is a podcast that is advocating for logic, science, reason, and civil discourse. Because all of those things are, well, not very abundant in our discourse today.
I would agree with that assessment. That's actually recorded here. And so we consider Escape from Ignorance part of the Get Off My Lawn family. And we promote it. We cross-post it. You post on Facebook a lot. And Twitter. You post a lot. I'm not sharing all that stuff. But you find a funny meme, we're on board.
But anyone can find me on Twitter at IrreverentW or on Facebook at Escape from Ignorance.
Yep. And when I edit it, I'll try to pop that up on the screen.
Irreverent with a D, not with a T. Irreverent. I mean, when you just state it, it sounds like irreverent.
That is a good point. So it is a play on words. It's sort of like the Reverend. I grew up as the son of a preacher. I'm now a hardened atheist, so you can imagine there was a fascinating journey between those two places. But, you know, my dad was a wonderful man, despite believing in some very silly things. And there's something beautiful about the way a preacher delivers a message. You know, everybody needs a preacher to help show them the way sometimes. And science is sadly lacking in good preachers.
There's some good ones. And let's be sure we talk about that in our shout-outs. Because we got another section. How about you? Who are you? Who the bleep are you?
I'm Carissa. I have no idea what I did in a past life to deserve this.
Yeah. Well, you're married to me. And you're part of the label.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it
feel
was
like
something
that
you
just
did
proves
in a
the premise.
current life.
Yeah.
You married this man.
I have made some questionable life choices.
It's not so bad.
Haven't we all?
It's not so bad.
The goal is not the mistakes you make, though. It's how you pick yourself up and carry on from those mistakes.
Oh, see, he's doing the irreverent walker now. He's out giving the advice unsolicited. I like that. That's really what that is. It's like you've got a viewpoint. You're trying to give advice. You're trying to sprinkle your wisdom on the world, and hopefully it wears away at the rock a little bit, and you have a positive effect.
Well, the only victory will be through a process of erosion.
Yep.
Right? You can't change hearts and minds all at once, except through very traumatic events that people have no control over.
That's right.
An individual person can only hope to change one individual mind.
And even then,
that,
yeah.
often
and
ends
I
with
think
someone screaming at you.
it tends to be more like an individual person can only hope to be one of 100 people who change one individual mind. I mean,
That's also
it's
a valid
not,
point.
It's not usually one thing that you hear or read or whatever that changes your mind on anything important. It's a giant series of things that happen, and you slowly change.
That is an excellent point, because even with erosion, an individual gust of wind only ever takes a pebble or two off. Eventually, there'll be a gust that makes the whole mountainside come down, but that gust had no idea it was going to be the one to do it.
Right. You don't tip the thing until it's about to tip anyway.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I've been drinking. We've all been drinking.
Cheers.
Except
Cheers.
Cheers.
Except you. For very valid reasons. No, I don't understand them. So now we're on section 2. So just to give you guys the heads up, we're gonna release this video twice. The first way will be in probably what you're watching now, which is this complete uncut form, and we'll just release it in its entirety. It's gonna be long, but I like watching long stuff on YouTube. I figure other people like watching long stuff on YouTube. It's fewer ads.
Like 200 people have watched our movie.
Really?
It's up to about 200 views, I think.
Nice.
Last I checked.
That's not bad. That's better than most of the Freeform Fridays.
I mean, I have no idea how many bailed after 3 minutes, but
Oh, we can go look at the analytics.
we could.
Maybe one of these days we'll actually pull it up. Though I think that's technically against the terms of service to show your analytics.
Really.
I think it is. I was
Like-
actually just reading through that, which is kind of like crawling through the Sahara Desert with no water, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you're going to take what we give you and we put it up. But I like YouTube. I don't really have cable anymore. Do you guys have cable?
Oh,
What is this cable you speak of?
Yeah, that's true. So, like, none of us watch cable news anymore, and I'm much happier for it. But then I get all my news from, like, a bunch of other guys online we'll talk about in the shout-outs.
I had cable until not too long ago because I was a cable guy for a company whose name I won't mention. But yeah, I had free cable, free satellite, really. That was cool, but I don't really miss it since losing it.
I enjoyed, there were certain channels, mostly science-based channels, stuff like History or Discovery, where you turn it on and there'll be something interesting. And I, being just the worst wonk, can get sucked into anything. So when I had access to the History Channel, I'd turn it on and be like, an hour special on the history of the lawnmower. Let's watch this. And, you know, that's not for everyone. And it's probably safer for me that I don't have access to that anymore.
Right. Hey, lean forward a little bit. You're being shadowed just a touch.
But I like the shadows.
Yeah, you do. So Steven was kind of giving me some grief, right? We first started doing this. He's like, I don't know if I'm cool with being on camera. You're doing great, man. You're doing great. I know you're normally not an on-camera guy, not at least in person.
It's just an extra part of my brain that has to engage, right? If it's just audio, then I don't have to worry what I look like or what my body language is, and it gets to be more about that vocal performance, right? But you've been
What
a
am I
stage,
supposed to be doing with my hands?
right? You've been a stage musician though, so you have a whole different perspective on that. You've been having to worry about body language and performance at the same time for a long time.
Sure.
I've done plenty as an actor and as a little as a stand-up comic, and I'm still terrible about body language on camera. I'm not paying any attention at all to what I'm doing right now.
Right, and both of us could probably stand to improve by paying attention to that sort of thing.
Yeah,
You know.
a lot.
You know, and that's the whole thing. We're all on a journey. We're all growing.